In a world that races ever faster, where technology defines the pace of our lives and the noise of everyday distractions floods our senses, a quiet call stirs within. It's not a sound that can be heard with the ears, but rather a deep, primal pulse felt in the heart. The call to awakening, a call to know who we truly are beneath the layers of social conditioning, material desires, and the endless pursuit of success. But what does spiritual awakening mean in today's world? And how do we navigate the path to it amidst the cacophony of modern life? Let's begin by acknowledging that spiritual awakening is not an external event. It's not a grand moment of revelation that strikes us like lightning. Instead, it is the gradual peeling away of the layers that cover the true nature of our being. Spiritual awakening is about remembering who we really are beyond the surface, beyond the mask of personality, beyond the roles we play in society. For some, this awakening comes as a sudden realization, an epiphany that shatters the illusion of separateness. For others, it is a slow burn, an accumulation of small moments of insight and clarity. Regardless of how it comes, spiritual awakening is the process of rediscovering that we are more than just our thoughts, emotions, and identities. We are an infinite presence, a boundless awareness that underlies all experience. Yet, the path to awakening in the modern world is fraught with challenges. We live in an age of constant distractions, social media, the constant bombardment of news, and the relentless push to consume, achieve, and succeed. Our minds are often so tangled in these external pressures that we forget to look inward. We forget to pause, breathe, and listen to the quiet whisper of our inner truth. But the call persists, and those who answer it find that the modern world, despite its chaos and noise, also holds immense potential for spiritual growth. Technology, when used consciously, can be a tool for awakening. The internet has brought spiritual teachings from every corner of the world into our homes, giving us access to ancient wisdom and practices that were once confined to far-off lands. In this chapter, we explore the importance of answering that call, of carving out space in our busy lives to turn inward, and of embracing the journey of spiritual awakening as an essential part of the human experience. At the heart of spiritual awakening lies a radical shift in perception, the dissolution of the ego. But before we can dissolve the ego, we must first understand it. The ego is not inherently bad. It is a necessary part of the human experience. It is the part of us that navigates the world, interacts with others, and creates our sense of identity. It is the mask we wear, the role we play in the drama of life. But the ego, if left unchecked, becomes a prison. It convinces us that we are separate from one another, that we are limited by time, space, and form, and that our worth is determined by external achievements and validation. The ego tells us who we are. It identifies with our thoughts, our body, our social status, and our accomplishments, and it thrives on comparison, competition, and attachment. But here lies the paradox. The more we identify with the ego, the more we distance ourselves from our true nature. In the modern world, the ego is constantly fed. We are bombarded by images of perfection on social media, in advertising, in movies, and we begin to believe that our value is tied to how we look, what we own, or how much we've achieved. The pressure to conform to these external standards is immense, and it often leaves us feeling inadequate, disconnected, and lost. Spiritual awakening, in its essence, is the process of seeing through the illusion of the ego. It's about recognizing that the I we identify with, the one that craves recognition, approval, and success, is not the true self. The true self is the timeless awareness that observes the thoughts, the emotions, and the sensations, but is not bound by them. To awaken spiritually is to begin the process of disidentifying from the ego. It's not about rejecting the ego completely, but rather about seeing it for what it is, a transient construct, a story we tell ourselves to make sense of the world. When we stop identifying with the ego, we begin to experience the freedom that comes with recognizing our true nature, an unchanging awareness that is always present, always still, and always complete. The modern world, with its constant noise and distractions, provides fertile ground for the ego to grow, but it also offers opportunities to challenge it. Meditation, Mindfulness and other spiritual practices are ways to observe the ego from a distance, to see its tricks and illusions for what they are. And in that observation, we begin to loosen its grip on our lives. The modern world often teaches us to look outward for answers. We are told that happiness, success, and fulfillment lie in external accomplishments, getting the right job, owning the right house, traveling to the right places. But the truth is that true peace and happiness can never be found in the outer world. They are born from within. The journey of spiritual awakening is, at its core, an inward journey. But how do we embark on this journey in a world that constantly pulls our attention outward? How do we find stillness amidst the chaos, silence amidst the noise? The key lies in creating space for the inner journey. This means turning off the constant stream of information and technology, stepping away from the distractions, and dedicating time each day to simply being with ourselves. In the stillness, we begin to listen to the voice of our intuition, to the wisdom of our hearts, to the silent whispers of the soul. In the modern world, we are often conditioned to do rather than be. We are told that productivity is the key to success, that we must constantly be moving, achieving, and accomplishing. But spiritual awakening requires us to slow down, to be present, and to embrace the space between thoughts. It requires us to stop striving for something out there and begin to look inward for the peace and fulfillment that already resides within us. The practices of mindfulness, meditation, and contemplation are powerful tools for this inner journey. They help us quiet the mind, focus our attention, and cultivate awareness of the present moment. When we practice these techniques regularly, we begin to develop a deep sense of inner peace, a peace that is not dependent on external circumstances, but is rooted in our own awareness. In the modern world, the inner journey often feels like swimming against the current, but the more we commit to it, the more we realize that it is the only true path. All external pursuits, while they may bring temporary satisfaction, ultimately fall short of the deep, abiding peace that comes from within. We live in a world where technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate. In every corner of our lives, new innovations emerge that promise to make things easier, faster, and more efficient. The internet connects us to a global network of information and people. Artificial intelligence can predict and automate tasks with uncanny accuracy, and virtual reality offers immersive experiences that blur the lines between the digital and physical worlds. These advancements have transformed the way we live, work, and communicate. Yet, as we become more connected to the digital world, we often find ourselves disconnected from the most important thing of all, our own consciousness. In the past, humans relied on direct sensory experiences, feeling the wind on their skin, listening to the rustling of leaves in the forest, observing the rhythm of the seasons, to connect with the present moment. But in the digital age, this connection to the physical world has been interrupted. The mind, in its natural state, is quiet, still, and expansive. It is attuned to the subtle energies of existence. Yet, technology bombards it with stimuli, distractions, and constant input. The constant flow of notifications, emails, and digital updates creates a cacophony of noise, often drowning out the still, inner voice of our true selves. We scroll through social media feeds, watch videos, respond to instant messages, and engage in endless digital conversations. With each action, we invite more stimuli into our minds, which, over time, trains our brains to become scattered, fragmented, and constantly in motion. The mind that was once capable of deep thought, focused attention, and inner peace is now accustomed to the ceaseless pace of the digital world. We lose our ability to be present, to be fully immersed in the moment, because our minds are perpetually divided between the physical world and the digital one. However, technology, like everything else in life, is neutral. It is neither inherently good nor bad. It simply is. The question is not whether technology is beneficial, but how we engage with it. Technology can either serve as a tool for growth or as a distraction from it. The key lies in conscious usage. When we use technology mindfully, with intention and awareness, it can be a powerful ally in our spiritual journey. For example, we can use the internet to access teachings, read spiritual texts, and connect with like-minded individuals who inspire and support our growth. There are even apps designed specifically to help us meditate, practice mindfulness, and cultivate self-awareness. In these ways, technology can enrich our lives, providing us with the resources and tools we need to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. It can expand our awareness, offering new perspectives and fostering a sense of connection that transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. Technology, when used consciously, has the potential to bring us closer to our inner truth, helping us navigate the complexities of the modern world with clarity and wisdom. However, the danger lies in the unconscious use of technology. When we engage with our devices mindlessly, scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or getting lost in the endless stream of digital content, we disconnect from the present moment and from our own inner truth. We become slaves to our devices instead of conscious masters of them. In these moments, we forfeit our ability to be present with ourselves, to listen to the quiet whisper of our own consciousness. We allow the noise of the external world to drown out the deeper truths that lie within. The unconscious use of technology also has the potential to reinforce the ego. In a world that constantly promotes comparison and validation through likes, followers, and external approval, we may find ourselves more focused on external measures of success than on cultivating inner peace. Our sense of self becomes increasingly tied to our digital personas, and we begin to define ourselves not by who we truly are, but by how others perceive us in the online world. In the age of technology, spiritual awakening requires a return to presence, a conscious effort to reconnect with the deeper layers of our being. It requires us to use technology with intention, setting boundaries and creating space for silence, stillness, and introspection. We must remember that our true nature cannot be found in the external world, no matter how advanced or connected it becomes. It is found within, in the deep well of our own consciousness. To navigate this new age consciously, we must prioritize moments of silence and reflection in our daily lives. This might mean turning off our phones for a set period each day, taking time to meditate, or simply sitting in stillness without any distractions. It means cultivating the ability to be fully present in the moment, free from the constant pull of digital distractions. When we create these moments of stillness, we allow our consciousness to return to its natural state, expansive, open, and attuned to the subtle energies of life. Ultimately, the challenge of living in the age of technology is not about rejecting it, but about finding a balance. We must learn to engage with technology consciously, using it as a tool for growth and connection, while also protecting our inner space, where true peace and wisdom reside. In this way, we can navigate the complexities of the digital age without losing sight of the most important thing, the still, expansive presence of our own consciousness. In the modern world, we are taught to see ourselves as separate from one another. From the earliest moments of our lives, we are shaped by labels and categories: our nationality, our race, our religion, our political beliefs, and these identities, while natural expressions of our personal and cultural histories, often lead to division, conflict, and misunderstanding. We are trained to define ourselves by what sets us apart from others, and in doing so, we often forget that the essence of who we are is far greater than these surface distinctions. This fragmentation, this sense of separation, has become so deeply ingrained in our psyche that it seems like the only reality. But spiritual awakening, when it begins to unfold in our lives, reveals a vastly different truth. We are not separate from one another. We are all part of a single, interconnected whole. This realization is not something that can be grasped solely by the intellect. It is not a mere concept to be understood with the mind, but an experiential shift in perception that touches the heart and soul. When we awaken spiritually, we begin to feel a profound sense of oneness with all things. It is not merely an abstract belief, but an experience that permeates our entire being. We begin to sense that the same consciousness that flows through us also flows through everyone and everything. We are not isolated individuals adrift in a vast, indifferent universe. We are expressions of the same infinite consciousness, temporarily taking form in different ways. The distinctions we make between human and animal, between self and other, between earth and sky, are seen for what they are: illusions, fragments of a larger, undivided truth. This understanding, this deep realization of unity, is not just a mystical or philosophical notion. It is a way of experiencing the world that completely transforms how we relate to everything around us. We no longer view nature, the stars, or the people we encounter as external and separate from ourselves. We begin to see that everything is part of the same living, breathing, interconnected web of existence. The mountains, the rivers, the forests, the creatures, each is a unique manifestation of the same underlying reality. The sun that warms our skin, the breeze that moves through the trees, the heartbeat that echoes in our chest, all are expressions of the same life force that animates the universe. In this way, our connection to the world becomes more immediate, more intimate, more sacred. In the modern world, where division and polarization seem to be intensifying with each passing day, the understanding of our fundamental unity is more important than ever. We are living in a time where the forces of fragmentation are at their peak, where political, social, and cultural divisions often seem insurmountable. This sense of separateness breeds fear, hatred, and mistrust, and it can lead us to see one another not as fellow human beings, but as enemies, competitors, or obstacles to our own desires. But spiritual awakening invites us to move beyond this narrow, ego-driven perspective. It calls us to rise above the us versus them mentality, to transcend the illusions of separation, and to recognize the divine essence that unites all things. When we awaken to the unity of all things, we begin to perceive the world through the eyes of love and compassion. We see not just the individual, but the universal in every person, every animal, every plant. We understand that the life that flows through us flows through them as well. We see that the pain of one is the pain of all, and the joy of one is the joy of all. In this way, our hearts naturally open, and our actions are guided by a deep sense of empathy and interconnectedness. We no longer approach the world with a mindset of, what can I get from this? But rather, how can I serve? How can I contribute to the well-being of the whole? This shift in perception leads to a life that is more peaceful, more harmonious, and more in tune with the rhythms of the universe. We begin to make choices that reflect our deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. We live with greater mindfulness, greater respect for the earth and all its inhabitants, and greater awareness of the impact of our actions on the larger whole. We no longer see others as threats or competitors, but as fellow travelers on the same journey, each of us carrying the same spark of divine consciousness. In the face of the fragmentation and suffering that characterize much of the modern world, the unity that comes with spiritual awakening is a radical act. It is an act of courage and love to look beyond the surface, to see the divine in every being, and to act from a place of compassion and understanding. It is a return to the heart, a return to the truth that we are all connected, that we are not alone, and that the healing of one is the healing of all. This is the essence of the spiritual path, to awaken to the unity of all things, to recognize that the boundaries we perceive between ourselves and others, between the self and the world, are but transient illusions. As we deepen our understanding of this interconnectedness, we become more than passive observers of life. We become agents of healing, agents of transformation. Through our awareness, we can help to heal the wounds of separation that have plagued humanity for so long. And so, the journey of spiritual awakening is not only a journey inward, but a journey outward as well. A journey into the heart of the world, where we recognize that we are not separate from it, but deeply, profoundly, a part of it. When we live from this awareness, we can bring about a profound shift in the collective consciousness, one that moves from division to unity, from conflict to peace, from fear to love. In the end, the truth is simple yet profound. We are all one. And in the recognition of this truth, we find the key to healing, to transformation, and to the deepest kind of freedom. Spiritual awakening is not a destination, it is a continuous journey, Once we have glimpsed the truth, we cannot unsee it. The task now becomes living in accordance with that truth, embodying it in every moment, every thought, and every action. In the modern world, this can feel like an impossible task. We live in a society that often prioritizes material success, achievement, and external validation. But the more we awaken to our true nature, the more we realize that the path of spiritual growth is not one of striving, but of surrender. It is not about doing more, but about being more present, more compassionate, more aligned with the divine. This journey requires patience, humility, and a willingness to let go of old patterns and beliefs. It requires us to cultivate inner peace amidst external chaos, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust in the unfolding of life. It requires us to remember that we are already whole, already complete, and that the path ahead is not one of seeking, but of allowing. As we move forward, we must remember that the modern world, with all its distractions and pressures, is not our enemy. It is the playground in which we can practice awakening. Every challenge, every encounter, every moment is an opportunity to return to the truth of who we are. And so, the journey continues. In the chaos, in the noise, in the fast pace of modern life, we find the stillness within. We find the awakening that has always been waiting for us. And we remember, at last, that we are not separate from the divine, but are expressions of it, living, breathing manifestations of the infinite. This is the path of spiritual awakening in the modern world, a path of remembering, of returning, and of living in alignment with the deepest truth of our being.